Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Najwa Shafika. I'm from PHM 2405A2. I will be the first presenter in my group. First thing first, I want to share with all of you what is food premise. Food premise is any building or space for the preparation, storage, transport, sale, or otherwise handling of food. Variety of establishment of food premise offer various kinds of food and service. There's a lot of factors that food premise operator need to consider when starting a premise. Okay, number one, the different areas of work within the establishment should be clearly defined. Okay, number two, form of the establishment is conditioned to the type of procedure. Number three, between site with distinct function, there should be physical separation. And number four, separate place for the storage of cleaning and disinfection product, storage and packaging, and waste. Okay, this principle applies not only to productive area, packaging of raw material, final product, but also to all areas of production support. In Malaysia, there are still number of food premise operator who still fail to implement the SOP set by law. There are still many problems related to food safety, food hygiene, and personal hygiene practice in their premise. Okay, there are some issue about the opening of food premise which they do not follow the set standard by law. Okay, we can see a lot of premise with poor hygiene and lot of people, customer still eat there. And the effect of this, the customer are prone to food poisoning. The management of food premise is very important for the health interest of employee as well customer. Improper food premise will cause health and hygiene issues that will be detrimental to the health of customer and employees. That's not good. Do you think this thing is a good for customer? Good for us? No, right? By this survey, we will know how many people in Malaysia aware about this and did they apply it when they're starting a premise?
Assalamualaikum. Before we start, first of all, I want to introduce myself. Okay, my name is Nur Lidawati binti Sulaiman, Group PHM 240582.
The next slide is findings. Okay, this section describes the result of data analysis based on the respondents' feedback, a survey of community understanding of the factor that a food premise. Okay, we have used quantitative method in conducting this study by using the survey in Google Form. This survey was distributed to 200 respondents. However, only 122 respondents have answered the questionnaire. Alright, the next slide is part A, demographic respondents. First, gender. Okay, the pie chart above show the demographic of respondents based on gender in community in Malaysia. A total of 25 respondents were male, equivalent to 20.5%. Meanwhile, for the female gender is a total 97 respondents, which is also 79.5%. This shows that the percentage of female is much higher than that of males. Okay, next is age. The pie chart above show the demographic of respondents on age among the community in Malaysia. A total of 10 respondents are less than 17 years old, equivalent to 8.2%. Meanwhile, for those aged 17 until 25 years old, there were 80 respondents who amounted to 65.9%. Meanwhile, the age of 25 years old and above is 26.2%, equivalent to 32 respondents. Respondents based on the age show more on 17 until 25 years old of age than those under 17 years old of age and 25 years and above. Alright. Okay, third, occupational. Okay. The pie chart above show the demographic of respondents based on employment among the community in Malaysia. Okay. A total of 72 respondents were student equivalents to 59%. Meanwhile, the respondents who employer were 37 people who amounted to 30.3%. Meanwhile, the respondents who unemployed were 5.7%, equivalent to 7 respondents. There are 4.1 percentage equivalent to 5 respondents are entrepreneur. Respondents based on the occupation indicated that students were more likely to answer the survey than those of other occupations. Okay. Next is statement I have acknowledged about food premise. Okay. Based on the bar chart, show the demographics of respondents based on a community in Malaysia. Okay. This survey involving 200 respondents, however, only 122 respondents had answered the questionnaire. Mostly, our respondents have moderate knowledge about food premise. Alright, the next slide is part B, objective 1, to identify the understanding of standard operating procedures SOP in running a food premise. Okay, first question is, does a food premise or any types of premise need a license to running their business? Alright. Based on the bar chart above, there are 118 respondents mostly said yes, that a good premise or any types of premise need a license to run their business. Another balance of respondents said no or not sure, either a food premise need a license to run their business. Okay. Next question is question 2. All employer and employee of the food premise need to have. Alright. Based on the pie chart above, there are 81 respondents who mostly know of the food premise needs to have all three types of answer given in the survey. Another balance of respondents choose either one answer for this question. Question 3 is an employer personal hygiene included. Okay. Based on the pie chart, there are 50 respondents equivalents 41% said all the statement given are criteria to the personal hygiene of employees. Meanwhile, 51.6% equivalents to 63 respondents said that proper attire only is the personal hygiene of employers. Other respondents state the different answers such as grooming and proper attire only. Next question is, a step of hand washing is important. Usually the food premise will stick the steps of the wall near the sink. Did you notice it? Okay. Based on the bar chart above, a total of 94 respondents equivalent to 77% were aware of the steps of hand washing that stick on the wall near the sink. In the food premise, our 28 respondents are not aware of this statement. Okay, the last question is, does the storage area of ingredients need a checklist of the expired date of the item? Okay, based on the bar chart above, a total of 111 to 91% agree that the storage area of ingredients expired date of the item. Other respondents state no and not sure, either the storage area of ingredients need a checklist of the expired date of the item. Alright, that's all for me. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Syahada Hanis binti Abdul Halim. I would like to continue for part C. The discussion for this section will select the highest, moderate and lowest response only. Objective 2. To relate the food safety knowledge with personal hygiene practices. Based on this liner scale, as we can see, Statement 1 states the hand should be washed before starting any work. There are 112 responses stated strongly agree for this statement, equivalent to 91.8% and 0.8% of neutral and strongly not agree. The average mean, where most respondents represent agree that hands should be washed before starting any work. Statement 2 states working with dirty hands should be avoided. There are 140 response stated strongly agree, equivalent to 93.4%, and 1.6% stated strongly not agree for this statement, equivalent to 2 respondents. The average mean, where most respondents represent agree that working with dirty hands should be avoided. Statement 3 states an apron can be used as a towel to clean our hand. There are 69 responses stated strongly not agree for this statement, equivalent to 56.6%. 29 respondents was stated not agree, equivalent to 23.8%, and 3 respondents was stated agree, equivalent to 2.5%. The average mean, where most respondents represent disagree that an apron can be used as a towel to clean our hands. Statement 4 states a single towel can be used to clean any dirty at every place. There are 73 responses stated strongly not agree, equivalent to 59.8%. 26 response stated not agree, equivalent to 21.3%. And 4 response stated agree, equivalent to 3.3%. The average mean, where most respondents represent disagree that a single towel can be used to clean any dirty at every place. Statement 5 states we should not smoking while working. There are 107 respondents stated strongly agree for this statement, equivalent to 87.7%. 8 respondents was stated agree, equivalent to 6.6%, and 1 respondent was stated not agree, equivalent to 0.8%. The average mean, where most respondents represent agree that we should not smoking while working.
I will present for part D.
Statement 1 states the food premise design principle must accommodate to the safe flow of product and waste to minimize risk of food and equipment contamination. There are 98 respondents that strongly agree to this statement, which is equivalent to 18.3%. 17 respondents, which lead to 13.9%, agree for this statement, and only 1 respondent state strongly not agree, which equivalent to 0.8%. The average mean, where most respondents represent agree that food premise design principle must accommodate the safe flow of product and waste to minimize risk of food and equipment contamination. Statement 2 state the food premise must be clean and maintained in a good repair and condition. There are 160 respondents state strongly agree for this statement, equivalent to 95.1%. 3 respondents, equivalent to 2.5%, are agree, and only 1 respondent is not agree, equivalent to 0.8%. The average mean, where most respondents represent agree that the food premise must be clean and maintained in a good repair and condition. Statement 3 state a good working environment must be provided. There are 110 respondents that strongly agree for this statement, equivalent to 90.2%. 8 respondents, equivalent to 6.9%,
0.6% are agree. 2 respondents are strongly not agree, equivalent to 1.6%. The average mean where most respondents represent agree that a good working environment must be provided. Statement 4 state the surrounding atmosphere should be free from pollutant. There are 110 respondents state strongly agree for this statement, equivalent to 90.2%. 8 respondents, equivalent to 6.6%, are agree, and only 1 respondent is not agree, equivalent to 0.8%. The mean average where most respondents represent agree that the surrounding atmosphere should be free from pollutant. Statement 5 states the food preparation and storage room should have a temperature control. There are 101 respondents state strongly agree for this statement, which equivalent to 82.8%. 15 respondents, equivalent to 12.3%, are agree, and only 1 respondent state strongly not agree, which equivalent to 0.8%. The average mean where most respondents represent agree that the food preparation and storage room should have a temperature control. As a result for this section show that the community's knowledge and understanding of the factors that are needed when starting a premise is adequate. However, there are still some aspects that need to be improved.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Faizatul Khadijah binti Mak Zain. I am from PHM 2405A1. Okay, I will continue with my part, which is suggestion. Previous study have been said in the Food Act 1983 there is a category of Malaysian standard review of the food industry, start from the preparation, handling, serving process of halal food and the product, including trading and business. Now, I will share with you our suggestion, which is food premise criteria. This suggestion have been divided by 4 elements. The first one is layout design. Every plan of a layout must have a proper production system, employing good hygiene and safety application in the face of any bacterial contamination and cross-contamination between and during activities. For example, design, especially for loading and unloading bays. The next one is process flow of a product from the incoming raw material through the completion of the product. No cross-contamination occur. For example, within human and equipment completely separated and properly protected from a pig farm or its linked activities. The third, I want to highlight the element of condition, why we need maintain proper maintenance and condition. It is because we can prevent pests and nasty places from getting access. Lastly, the majority of our population is Muslim, so that there is existing a Muslim slaughter as an entity to our religion. If food service were conducted by a Muslim, they only use halal slaughter and processing is allowed. For example, this method is not using as a ritual slaughtering, and halal animals are slaughtered to express respect to them. Thank you. Next, I will continue in conclusion. As we know, food premise can be defined as an area for food storage, preparation and serving, as well as dining and cleaning areas. Next, the study aims is to identify the understanding of SOP in running a food premise by the design of Malaysian food premise in accordance halal concept. Last but not least, the important things are cleanliness and hygiene. There is one of the important control elements that have been used in food premise. From that, we can prevent contamination of physical, chemical, biological properties of the food provided. As a result, while running a food premise, all employees must always practice and ensure that food is delivered is healthy, clean, and free of contamination to customers in order to gain customer trust in the food safety. That's all for me. Thank you.